Hi everybody, welcome to the Journey Coach, and today I'm going to cover how to actually look for software that can help you organize what you're doing in your doctoral journey and get yourself into a program that will help you put together a schedule and manage it effectively. There's a few things I would suggest that you actually take into consideration when you're looking for a software to put yourself into. One, it is really helpful if you get a to-do-based software that is project-based, meaning that you can set up a major task and subtasks under that with due dates for the specific subtasks as well. So the example for this would be, I have a written assignment. It's the first one due. So written assignment 1. But there's multiple things I need to do to get that assignment ready, right? I need to read. I need to do some research, some journaling, looking through different journal articles to actually narrow down what I need. And in fact, I've done a video that talks about how to evaluate journal articles to help you get the ones you need for a project. So I'll link that down below so that you can find it. But when you're doing that, you actually have to take the step of finding the articles and getting them pulled in. You need to get them downloaded. You need to get them in your system for citing as you write. You need to create a template for the paper, so put all the headings in based on the assignment and what they're asking for. There's steps you have to go through before you ever start writing anything. And then once you've written something, you need time to edit it before you submit it, or you're going to have a lot of sloppy mistakes that make you look less professional or less like a serious student that you don't want in there. So that's why I recommend you make sure that it is a to-do based software program that will allow you the flexibility of setting up steps to a project. So that's step 1 in what you look for in a software. 2 is it needs to be multi-platform. And so what do I mean by that? If I'm working on my laptop, I want to be able to have or be able to bring that up there. If I'm on my phone, I want access to that list there. I want to be able to access my to-do list on multiple platforms. My iPad, my iPhone, my MacBook Pro, through the web interface or through the program I download. And that would be the same if I'm like, I have a Google for my phone. I have a Windows-based program for my laptop. So I need to make sure that I can access this across my devices. That allows me to keep track of what I need to do no matter where I'm at. So multi-platform access becomes really important. Third thing that ties to the multi-platform is ease of access and use. If you're going to struggle to put things into it, check things off, check the actual program and see what's on the list, you're not going to use it. Looking at these things, that's what I'm trying to find, is a program that will work for me like that. And you may be somebody that ease of access for you may be a little more difficult because you've got a mix of Microsoft and Mac-based products. And so you have to be able to operate across those. That may mean you need something that's based on a web platform that you can access through the internet instead of having to have something downloaded on all of the devices. But this is just something you have to really look at, look through. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a few examples of some software that you might find useful and software I've used. And I will say I like to use and try different softwares. So it's not uncommon for me to start with one program and a year in go, oh, I want to try something else because something else comes along that adds new functionality I find useful. So don't be afraid of that. One thing you might want to check on is to see if you actually can export and then import that information somewhere else so that you don't necessarily have to recreate it every time. But for me, an organization, I don't like to worry and try to remember things. I'm not going to remember them. And I think that's probably everybody's reality. We have so much going on that all the things you need to keep track of, especially if you're in an advanced degree program, you're not going to be able to do just off the top of your head. And I know some rely on the kindness of strangers in their coursework to let them know when something's coming up. But very few are going to actually do that for you. If you don't care enough to do it for yourself, you're probably going to struggle, miss some things, and that makes you look less professional, less serious as a student, and also it's stressful. You don't need the extra stress. So, first program I would recommend is Microsoft To Do. Now, this used to be Wunderlist, and I think you still can get an older version of Wunderlist, which I liked a lot. The Microsoft To Do has a few quirks I'm not as crazy about. I liked Wunderlist better. But that being said, it's now Microsoft To Do. And if you use Microsoft products, I have all Mac products, so Microsoft To Do works fine on them. So it is a program that can totally span a crossover of Windows and Mac based systems. So if you've got that combination, Microsoft To Do may be one of the best ones for you. Another available is Asana, A-S-A-N-A. And Asana is a really good program. It's also project-based. It gives you a lot of flexibility in having subtasks and being able to really kind of organize in a way that makes it easy for you. So between these two programs, and by no means are these all encompassing in terms of a list. I'm giving you two. There's a large number of others available. These two are just pretty easy to use, have a low learning curve. They're not, if you're used to to-do systems at all, you can make these work for you pretty quickly. They both have pretty good help apps and availability of help online. So if you get stuck, you can get information back to you. And both of them can be used multi-platform so that you have ease of access across a multitude of devices. So that's why I really kind of recommend one or the other. And one thing to consider is also for me, and this may not be for you, but for me, the aesthetics matter. Do I like getting in there? Is it pretty when I'm in there? Can I change backgrounds and colors and really make it my own? And can I set up a kind of a system, a hierarchy of folders where I can have my personal and have things there? So for instance, in my Microsoft To Do, I'm going to show you some of it right now. I have an ongoing reading list. Now this is fiction, but I have a personal folder and then subfolders underneath that, sub-projects. And those projects allow me to put whatever in there. So my grocery list is there, so when things come up, I just add them in there. And when I go to the grocery store, I can pull up the grocery list and I have that list to work with. I have one for work. I have one for the Journey Coach and for doing things like this, for consulting work that I do. So I set up those headers, and then I can, for instance, for the consulting, I can have the consulting as a larger family of items, and then each job that I'm consulting on has its own project, and then the to-dos that go with that are in there. And that allows me to get organized in a way where I don't have to think about things. I don't have to worry about things not getting done because I don't remember them. And it bridges my personal, my work, my professional life across what all of that means, my family, in a way that keeps me feeling less stressed. And that's the goal of this. Organization and scheduling is about less stress. Use of software programs is about having less stress. Now, the other thing I'll mention with Microsoft To Do and Asana is both of them have a good track record. They've been around. They have support systems set up. I don't worry about my data getting lost. And some of the newer ones or less popular ones or smaller ones, I do worry about that. And I have had instances where I've lost everything I put in there. Before you decide on one to download and to actually really use, I would recommend that you read the reviews surrounding them and make sure that you don't see a lot of people reporting glitches or when an update occurs that data's lost. If you see that and it's current, then I would move on to something else and invest in that, especially if you're not like me. Since I don't mind changing them if I find something better, while I don't want to lose my data, I do not mind switching to something else. But if you don't like that and once you get into it, you just want to use it, then I would recommend that you really read those reviews for that kind of information, because that's going to be important to you. I hope this has been helpful. It gives you at least a start to start looking at some programs that could help you with your organization. Thank you for joining the journey with the Journey Coach. And if you will, subscribe to the channel, and that way when new videos come out, you'll get that information. If you have any questions for me, feel free to post them in the discussion.